Aphrodite in Greek times was Iana or Ishtar, same name throughout the different eras. And here is the lineage of Iana. Now, if you see down here, she is the granddaughter of Enlil, which would have been Zeus. So let's look at Aphrodite in the Greek period. They've got her down as the daughter, not granddaughter. So you could argue, well, that's possibly wrong. But why did they even leave Mesopotamia and go to Greek? Well, that's actually covered in a video on my Patreon page called Where Did the Anunnaki Go? So if you want to watch a long video talking about that, you can. So let's have a look at the differences between Iana and Aphrodite. Iana, Mesopotamia's goddess with love, beauty, sex, war, justice, etc. And Aphrodite is pretty much the same, with war, etc., which is very interesting. Where does red hair come from? Well, they say that Neanderthals actually had red hair, which would make sense because the Anunnaki, who created Homo sapiens sapiens from merging Neanderthal and their own DNA, they had blonde hair and blue eyes. So this could be where we have red hairs from, the Neanderthals. Now, if you look here, it says Africa was populated with Homo sapiens 300,000 years ago, which is exactly what the ancient texts say, which is fantastic. However, I just want to draw your attention to this article here. It says, what colour was Neanderthal skin? This is by the Smithsonian, and they say Neanderthal had red hair and pale skin. I still think they had red hair, but not pale skin. And if you look under here, another location, not Smithsonian, who I don't trust at all, Europeans from this article here, New Science, saying that they had dark skin and brown hair. So there you go. The Pyramid of Menera, as pronounced, probably wrong there. Now, this isn't a pyramid, let's be honest. There's no blocks, there's no solid blocks like there would be with the Great Pyramid. And I suggest it's a tomb, just like this. Now, imagine if this was all destroyed. You would have thought, because of the base, pile of rubble, you would have said, oh, well, that was a pyramid. But it's not, it's a tomb. And I suggest this was actually a tomb, just like this, not a pyramid. And inside that pyramid was a sarcophagus like this. Now, inside that sarcophagus was supposedly this mummy. Now, actually, it never had any wrappings around it, which makes it not really a mummy. And the reason why I don't even think it's a correct person is that hair there was done for a younger person, according to historians. So it wouldn't have actually matched the person who they believe was the person there, Mare. Now, if you look here, even scholars thought it was just some burial. In other words, it wasn't a mummy until later on. Now believe the mummy, yes, but it wasn't a mummy originally. It was just a burial, which is interesting. And we could say, well, let's go and have a look to see who this person really was. Let's do some DNA testing. Let's do some testing. However, there was never any photographs of this in that sarcophagus, which makes you wonder why. Then you say, okay, well, at least we got the body. This is the oldest known mummy, even though it's not really a mummy. Oldest known mummy in history. Where is it? Which museum's got it? Well, they lost it shortly after. What do you mean they lost it? In other words, I'm saying this was never in there, and this was taken a picture of from someone else, which is why it doesn't actually match. And as you know, they do lie. Archaeologists lie all the time, unfortunately, such as the person that faked this cartouche on Khufu's pyramid, which has now been proven to be fake. So you can't trust an archaeologist because they obviously want notoriety, which is why they actually do it. So this is my opinion of that non-pyramid, which really is just a tomb. This is a depiction of Enkidu, who was a creation created possibly by Enki, who was an Anunnaki leader, and Enki also created humans, so we know Enki did mess around with DNA. If Enki is the same person as Poseidon in Greek times, then possibly Poseidon might have created creatures if they were one of the same people. But who else did Enki create other than humans and Enkidu? Well, also the Bull of Heaven, which some people believe is the Minotaur. Now, if Poseidon is Enki, did Poseidon create any creatures? Well, funny enough, they did. So he did. So here's a list here: dolphins, octopus, etc., that Poseidon created. Now, is that a coincidence? Both of them, both gods, creating creatures? I want to show you guys just how much mainstream rammed down our throats. Now, this is a video talking about pyramids being tombs. If you've watched all my other videos, you know that no pyramid was ever a tomb, including the last video that I just done. Now, this is a Smithsonian Channel video, so you can expect them to be ramming lies down our throats, bearing in mind the Rockefellers helped fund the Smithsonian. Okay, here we go.
This is a pretty exciting moment. We're in this amazing kind of lunar landscape. This is the Bent Pyramid, just slightly closer to us, and what's known as the Red Pyramid behind it. But we're going to a much less well-known part of the site, where something very intriguing, to say the least, has been uncovered just very recently.
Right, so you just saw those massive pyramids sticking out the ground, obviously off the ground. This is what they're calling a pyramid. Where's all the big blocks? Where's all the... This is it. It's literally just something underground. So they're saying that's a pyramid. Lazy. Oh, don't wind me up. Okay, and here is another shot of it close up. This is what they call a pyramid. Yeah.
The heart of the pyramid. These huge blocks are protecting the only access to the chamber and any mummy and treasure that may be hidden inside.
Okay, and have a look at this.
And unlike any other pyramid found so far, it still appears to be sealed.
Sealed, okay, bear that in mind. So this is a pyramid that they seem to think is a pyramid, but obviously it's not. So here they're lifting up this block. As you can see, it takes a lot of manpower to lift this block that's sealed, by the way, sealed. So they have a look inside.
The tomb gives up its secrets.
And it's not a tomb.
Time in almost
or if it is a tomb, it's not a pyramid. And that's it. That is all they see in there. Okay, a little tiny box that's not a sarcophagus or anything like that. Just that's it. Just this tiny little room. So, and then guess what they say? They say, oh, well, it's been robbed, and the robbers put the big massive block that you just saw, they put it all back nicely, and therefore that's why there's no body in this pyramid. Thank you, Smithsonian. If you would like me to ever work for you and actually show you how it's done properly, please let me know, because this is full of crap. Where did the Greek language come from? Well, it was probably more than likely from the Tower of Babel incident, when everyone was told to learn a different language by Enlil. And this gentleman here is Ivan Finkel. He's the head curator of the British Museum for Mesopotamia History. And he actually believes the Tower of Babel was real, based on tablets. Now, the actual tablet, there is a copy of an older text, and the copy is in the Louvre in Paris. So they're not always in the British Museum. And the Tower of Babel here was supposedly in Babylon, which makes sense because the Tower of Babel was made by Marduk, who was the god of Babylon. So that makes sense. Now, there's an interesting program here from the Smithsonian, which I don't normally recommend, but if you look for it, it's called Some Very Compelling Evidence of the Tower of Babel Was Real on